Hey guys, you're watching PhoneArena's in-depth video review of the LG dLite, which is available through T-Mobile right now, priced at $49.99 on contract. The biggest thing about this handset is that it furthers LG's presence on T-Mobile's lineup. It's a flip handset, a very stylish looking device, and to tell you the truth, it looks pretty different from what's out there. Generally, most of the flip handsets that we tend to see cater to the entry-level market, but this one's more of a mid-range offering thanks to its stylish appeal. As you can tell, it has this LED matrix which displays the time and also has these nifty animations that run. On top of that, there's this backlit LED surface here, which is used primarily for notifications. It'll light up in different colors. You can change that too. It's constructed out of plastic, and the one that we have is bubblegum pink. There's also an electric blue version. It does well to accent with the white, but it does feel rather flimsy, not the best quality out there. Also, the hinge doesn't have that, it feels somewhat loose, doesn't have that snappy feel. Very lightweight because of the choice of materials, and on top of that, it is rather long for most when you compare this to other flip handsets. When you open up the handset, you're going to be greeted to its 2.8-inch display, which has a widescreen look to it. It has a resolution of 240 by 400 and support for 262,000 colors. It's pretty detailed. We definitely like the look of it, but it does lack some brightness issues, so you'll have a hard time viewing it in outdoor conditions. Right below that, you have your numeric keypad, which is adequately sized, even for people with larger fingers. They're all flush to the surface from what you could see, but they do offer a pretty good tactile response when you press them. We didn't like the backlighting though, it's kind of weak for our taste. Same thing applies to the circular directional pad, which is pretty good. On the left hand side, you have just your volume rocker, which is a little bit small. On the right side, you have the dedicated shutter key, and here you have the micro USB port to charge, connect to the computer, and even for the headphones that are included with the packaging. On the back, you have the 2 megapixel camera, and when you remove the back cover, it gives you access to the battery, SIM card slot, and micro SD card slot. As far as the platform goes, we definitely like its look, just because it's a little bit more animated versus the other offerings out of other LG phones. You have your home screen here, and you're presented with just a static wallpaper right now, but you could change it to a animated one. The main menu, same thing applies to it. There's a lot of animations when you scroll over each of the icons. It's in good life view, but you could change that the way it looks. There's a lot of options from the wallpaper, the color themes, even the external display, the brightness, and just makes it really fun and straightforward. If you're into web surfing, you might want to look elsewhere, just because the experience on the dLite is nothing but forgetful. First of all, it took over 2 minutes for our page to load completely. Secondly, as you could tell, it just has a hard time of re-rendering pages. When you zoom in too, it takes a little bit of time just to resize everything. So you're going to do a lot of horizontal scrolling. The music player is rather pretty looking just because it displays the album cover and also some pertinent information. You can even set a visualization to run just to give an animated look. The tunes produced by the speaker were kind of neutral, but when you close the handset, it dispersed it a little bit better. And when you close the handset, you'll be treated to some nifty animations. Watching videos on the dLite is also a pretty decent experience, just because it managed to load up the one that we have right here. Pretty good frame rate, no stuttering issues or slowdown. It also will adjust accordingly if you tilt it to landscape mode. If there's one area that really impressed us about the dLite, it has to be the images taken by its 2 megapixel camera. When we used it outdoors, it had really good detail. Although they look somewhat overcast in color, it was still more than acceptable. When we took it indoors though, you tend to see a little bit more fuzziness going on. Unfortunately, we can't really say too much about the video capturing experience on the dLite, just because it only shoots video in QVGA resolution, 320 by 240, and also at a 14 frames per second, so they tend to look pretty jerky. On top of that, they didn't have any detail to it. Calling quality was a mixed bag. It has the option for noise cancellation. That's what the microphone is on top. Without it on, you actually have muffled sounding voices on our caller's end, and when you have it enabled, it actually sounded a little bit more distinguishable. Unfortunately, the volume out of the earpiece was kind of lacking, so it made it rather difficult to hear our callers. Same thing applies to the speakerphone, just didn't produce the ample tones that we needed. When it came down to signal strength, we didn't have any issues as far as fluctuation, but we did notice that it dropped a few of our calls during our time with it. Battery life, we managed to get 7 hours of talk time when the manufacturer has it rated for 6, so it does a respectable job. Now, it's a safe bet to say that the handset's actually quite appealing, which is by far its biggest contributing factor to purchase this handset. you'll definitely get some looks just because of its flamboyant looking colors. On top of that, a lot of personalization with the LED lights going on, and also the LED matrix on the outside. Aside from that, it does function perfectly as a handset. The platform is really simple, nice looking animations to it, so it has a lot of personalization as well. But if you're looking for more in-depth features like taking videos or even web browsing, it did kind of poorly in that category, but it did produce some stellar images. So when it's priced at $49.99 contract, you really can't beat it. It does offer a pretty well-rounded mix of features, and on top of that, it'll probably be suitable with its stylish looks. So if you'd like to learn more about this handset, or for all the latest cell phone reviews, news specs, and information, you can check us out at PhoneArena.com.